This video will look at how the differing ideologies of the USA and the USSR contributed to causing the Cold War. The clash between capitalism and communism is a clash between economic and political systems, a clash of how a country should be run. For the capitalists, individual choice is key, while for the communists, the good of all should be put before the freedom of the individual. There are distinct differences between the capitalist economic system and the communist economic system. In a capitalist system, homes, property, and businesses are privately owned. Anyone can start their own business with the aim of making money for themselves. For example, a clothing store owner can buy stock, pay workers a set wage, and keep the profit left after expenses for themselves. In a communist system, the government owns houses, factories, and shops. People work for the state, not private individuals, and profits go back into the system and are, in theory, shared equally among everyone. Economic planning decides what gets produced. In capitalism, this is driven by the market. If people want sneakers and are willing to pay for them, companies make sneakers. If people stop buying sandals, then companies stop making sandals. In communism, the government makes these decisions. If the government decides people need work boots, then work boots are made. People buy what's available, rather than influencing what gets produced. In capitalism, wealth and motivation are closely linked. People are encouraged to study, work hard, start businesses, and invent new things because they can earn a lot of money. The idea is that money motivates people. Those who don't work as hard or take risks usually earn less. This creates rich and poor, which is seen as acceptable because the chance to get rich motivates others to succeed. In communism, inequality is seen as a problem. Communists believe that capitalism mainly rewards a few wealthy business owners, while the workers who make those businesses successful are underpaid. Instead, they believe wealth should be shared equally, with everyone benefiting from the success of a company. People are motivated not by personal profit, but by the goal of improving life for everyone. In a capitalist system, the government has a limited role in the economy, letting businesses make decisions for themselves about what is best for the economy, while in a communist system, the government has strong control over the economy, deciding almost every aspect. It should be noted that there are no purely capitalist economic systems in the world, and that the USA system is really a mixed economy with some state provisions such as roads, schools, and welfare programs, to mention but a few. But it is important to clarify the differences between a clearly capitalist and a communist system. There are also differences in the political systems of capitalist and communist countries. A key difference is their approach to democracy. In capitalist countries, there are multi-party systems where people can create their own political parties and vote in free elections. Communist states such as the USSR, China, and North Korea had or have one-party systems where the Communist Party cannot be removed from power, and opposition parties are often illegal. Another key difference is the approach to the rights of the individual. In the US, individual rights are enshrined in the US Constitution, such as freedom of speech, the right to meet with others, known as the freedom of association, freedom of the press, and voting rights. While in the USSR, these freedoms were severely limited, with severe consequences for criticizing the government, forming your own political party, or publishing material that the Communist Party didn't like. People's movements were also sometimes monitored, and the secret police could monitor who they met with. So why did these two systems come into conflict? Each side felt that their way of life was threatened by the other. Communist ideology promoted the spread of communism to free workers from what they saw as exploitation by rich capitalists and to help build a worldwide workers' paradise. The US feared that communism might spread to America and other countries. As a result, it supported anti-communist parties and governments. Programs like Marshall Aid helped increase US influence in post-World War II Europe. Meanwhile, The USSR feared that the US wanted to destroy communism and weaken Soviet power. In response, the Soviets took control of Eastern Europe and set up communist governments, claiming they needed a buffer zone to protect themselves against future invasions, having been invaded twice through Europe in the past 40 years. However, the US saw this as Soviet expansionism. Although it is unlikely that you would encounter a question asking you to compare the ideologies, a solid understanding of their ideological differences is essential to understanding the motivations and actions of both sides during the Cold War.